and welcome to Crafts and Crime. I'm Amy.
I'm Elaine.
And as always, we have a craft and a crime. Mm-hmm. So if you hear any music going on in the background, it would be my daughter practicing her violin. And because she had her private lesson yesterday. Yeah. And then Lenore and Troy have their guitar lessons today. Mm-hmm. Lenore's at 3:30, right? And then
hers is at 3:30. His is like in 8 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so she's just practicing for a few minutes before he's gonna do his class.
Yeah. So I didn't get the email homework from the teacher this week, but I did forward the email to Avery, and I was like, you need to practice your rhythms and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star and all that stuff. So this is all new for her. She's never played violin before.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to Jack's dad yesterday when he came over, and he was like, why violin? And then we were talking about like, well, it's important to learn you're gonna lose it.
Yeah, I noticed it was getting loose. I'm like, what is happening? Sorry. Every time we have a microphone difficulty of some kind.
Every episode. But yeah, he was like, why violin? She's like, oh, well, because Lenore wanted to. And then like, I thought, why not? And we were just saying like, no, it's a good string instrument to learn.
Anything orchestral is really good for your brain.
Mm-hmm. And
anything stringed is
and
good
this will
for
help
your brain.
her read music because I cannot read music at all.
I can't anymore. Which is so weird because I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be able to for years, but the thing was that without the muscle memory of playing the flute while I was looking at the music, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because when I left band in late junior high and I switched to concert choir, I couldn't read the sheet music to sing. I had to do it all by ear. It's a reason that I can't join a choir now because I've looked into them and you have to know how to listen. You have to know how to read music. And I'm like, how can I tell someone, I promise you I will like get it. I just have to hear it through one time and then I'll get it. But like they have to believe you. And,
I know. I do everything by ear. Yeah, I've learned songs by ear.
Yeah.
Everything on the piano is pretty much by ear. Speaking of which, we got that giant keyboard yesterday and
got yourself a piano.
Yep. And so it's a 88 key. So it's really big. But even that I was like, man, I haven't played for a while. And so I think that's next year Avery wants to do piano and guitar. Maybe violin, like alternate, like, every, so
maybe every
often
seasonal you could move it through seasons, and on the off season she practices.
Yeah. So I haven't decided, but yeah, it sounds like she might be done. Maybe because Troy has his guitar thing in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, Troy's alternating between bass and then electric, and then Lenore's using the acoustic because that's right.
We're still waiting for her guitar through the school to come, but like for our charter school, we have an order cutoff, which is like the 10th of March or the 15th of March,
something like that.
Which from when we're recording, that's just in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So they're bogged with orders. I think I haven't gotten anything from the school yet, and we ordered like 2 days apart.
Yeah, I just started getting stuff. So you'll probably get it soon. I could probably log in and see if it's been processed.
Yeah.
Watch, we're going to be done recording and it's going to be on the porch. No, Amazon already came by today.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I thought I was getting more stuff from the school, but it was stuff I had ordered. Jack wanted a frame. We were in the garage cleaning yesterday.
Yeah.
And he has like a real He-Man print. And I think it's signed or something. I don't know. So he wanted a frame for that. And so I was like, get the tape measure out and I'll order it right now. So I immediately ordered it. So it'll be here tomorrow. And then he got more filament for his 3D printer. And then I got the kids' new tablet cases. And I thought Lincoln's was broken. I know Lily's is broken, but I thought Lincoln's was broken. And then he was in a mood this morning because I was like, oh, bring me your tablet. I'll put on a case. He's like, but it's not broken. And I was like, it's fine. It's dirty and gross. Like I'll just put the new one on, and the new one has a handle.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's fine. And I'm like, whatever, dude. I'll just send it back. Well, then I took a shower and like got ready. And I come out into the living room and he was like, oh, my tablet case broke. He broke that like handle, or not the handle, the little plastic thing on his old tablet case. And he's like, I think I need the new one. I'm like, dude, we could have saved it in case this one broke. I was like, oh, whatever. So yeah.
My goodness.
So that's what I got. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow we'll start getting stuff from the school. So
yeah. I was laughing because you were walking the acoustic guitar next door, and I laughed because like yesterday I left with like 2 huge boxes and then because I was weighing stuff and doing mail here. But then one of the things we joke about too is like walking back and forth and like the outfits we were wearing because it's like our house clothes. Today I realize how I have 3 separate patterns on. I have a tie-dye tank top, black bell bottoms with covered in red roses, and buffalo check flannel. It's like oddly cold, but now I'm sweaty, but I don't have a bra on.
Girl, I don't care.
But it's like, it's weird because I'm like, I'll take this flannel off and then I'm going to be cold because you and I keep talking about that. It's like cold outside right now.
Your shoulders so your arms are out.
I'll tie it around like Buffy.
Yeah, like a cape. So yeah, I'm well, this is like a regular shirt.
Have the day you deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, my shirt has a skeleton person.
There's something about long sleeves. Oh my god, we were joking about that meme. Or no, not the meme, the TikTok you showed me of the lady talking about like cutting your shirts to be all cute and then it looks like this. I'm like, I cut the sleeves off of band shirts that are my husband's all the time that he gives me. But the problem is like because they're not women's like tailored fit, they end up with like this baggy athletic trailer park looking thing going on.
Yeah. I tried cutting the sleeves and the neck off of a shirt that I got from college and it was horrible, so I kept cutting and now it's a tank top.
Yeah,
because I was like, this looks horrible.
Aww.
And so yeah, I'm just not good at that. I can repair clothes, but don't make me cut clothes, it'll turn out bad. So
yeah, I watch tutorials and everything and it doesn't matter. Although I do have one that's really, really good, and I like had cut the shoulders open and then like cut some designs by the collarbone. That'll never happen again. It just worked out one time. I can't braid, so I can't do any of the fun like you loop the bits in the back when you stretch them. This is a weird conversation.
You know that shirt that I wear that says I got laid in Germany on the back?
Yeah.
You know, with the duck? That one, I think Jack had cut off the sleeves and the neck or whatever. I don't know. And so I've been wearing it. That thing has so many holes now.
Really?
And then I have another shirt that has like a huge hole like right here in the armpit, and I still wear it. But I'm like, they're so soft.
Yeah.
And that's
they get all that vintage feeling.
Oh, I love it. So that's what I sleep in. And now I can't remember what I did. I remember. I had Jack rub my shoulders, and I was like, no, you got to go further down on my back. And I was wearing that shirt, and I pulled it down over my shoulders, and it was like ripped, so it ripped more. And so I'm like, no, it's just an off the shoulder.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Oh gosh, let me get comfortable. I put this up here because I was like, when we record, we got to remember to do our friendship bracelets.
I know where mine is.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. When we're done recording, we'll tie our friendship bracelets on.
Okay.
And make a wish, and then wear it forever. Forever. So we will do it. So, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Sorry,
you are
I'm
first.
Currently texting my child because she needs help, but it's fine.
No, it's fine. Yeah, she's old enough to figure it out. Did you figure out the login?
Yeah. No, she's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, that's why there's classes.
Exactly. It's tuned. I told her. I checked that it was tuned. Oh, and that's when I found.
Like, he's going to tell you everything.
Yeah. And that's when I found that pitch pipe. So, because I could tune a guitar by ear. And I can also tune a violin by ear now. I just need to hear the note. Well, on the guitar, I just need to hear the
what it should be.
The E. I have to start with E, the low E, and then I can go from there and tune the whole guitar by ear. I was able to do that. I taught myself how to do that when I was like in 6th grade.
Yeah.
So,
I just realized, is there a pick in that case?
Oh, I don't know.
Hope she has a thumbnail.
I could text Avery. Here we're like recording on the podcast. This is real life. This is what we.
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't think there's a pick in there, so I might have to tell Avery, like, take a guitar pick over to. Sorry, y'all.
Oops.
Over to Lenore.
We're telling you, it was a day already. Every day is a day on the inner city homestead.
Inner city homestead.
Yeah.
I know. I am finally hearing my quail again.
I am too, but that's because I stay up way too late.
Yeah, no, I was
just once. It's always just one time.
Yeah, I was in the laundry room the day before in the afternoon. I was I was like trying to print something.
Maybe they
or
just
whatever.
slow down in the darker weather too.
I don't know. Maybe because they were going crazy. I still need to
when it gets dark so early, they'd probably like not want to make a lot of noise because they'd be a prey to like owls because they're so small.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I'm like, I told Avery she'll be fine. I think she needs to learn the fundamentals anyways of like how to tune it.
Grab like a gift card and cut the end off,
or just use her. That's what I was using when
a thumb.
And I had no nails.
You has no hands either.
No, I never have hands.
Okay, so a lot of these crafts that we find are always like, we say it all the time. If you're new here, we've always been the same. We have not a lot of things have changed. We've always liked pretty things. We've always liked decorative things, but also we've always needed tools. So truly one of the earliest forms of art known to man is the lapidary arts.
Oh, okay.
So lapidary is any kind of work you do to stone. So you're gonna facet a stone, cut a stone, carve a stone, and we'll get to those different things too.
I think I moved it. Never mind. I was like, I got a stone.
I got a stone.
I got a cool stone.
So chiseling a stone tool, a spear, an arrow tip is still lapidary work because you are purposefully shaping and changing what it initially is. And it started out the easiest way, like most of us know, which is hitting a rock against another rock.
Yeah.
You know, and it would make obsidian shards for cutting. Even just regular rocks can become extremely sharp. And from an extremely early time, like most everybody, the Egyptians were the very first to create their own ways of cutting and polishing lapis lazuli, amethyst, and turquoise. And, you know, they would put these in the tombs, in sarcophagi, in everything. Anything they could. Headdresses, jewelry. But it was still very simple.
So does this also include, like, diamonds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, gems and stuff.
Oh, yeah. India actually really, really developed lapidary arts. And this is, like, going back to these weird time frames that are so hard to say. There's text from the early first millennium CE, which is so crazy. Like, that's like a mouthful because nobody wants to be like, it was the 1000s.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Have you heard of those kids that are like, were you born in the 1900s? You can get the fuck out of here right now. Anyway, sorry.
I know.
So early first millennium, there is a manuscript of Buddhist text, excuse me, it's called the Ratan Parishka by the Buddha Bhatta. And he actually talked about, so in the 1000s, there is text that was talking about so much. He was basically like what reminds me of like the Pliny the Elder, you know. So he has these there's text about the mining and sourcing of these gems. The way that they learn to test their strength, which in the scientific world is called the Mohs hardness scale. So they would test the strength of just like, how hard do you have to hit this to crack it? And so they realized that there were certain gems and stones that were stronger than others. We realized that very early on. And so, you know, we've obviously been doing it for a very, very long time. Archaeologists Jason Hawkes and Stephanie Wynne Jones wrote one of their geological essays about that there was evidence of trade of stones and jewels and these lapidary products from between Africa and India during that same time frame, because, you know, we all like to look pretty still. Lapidary art was a very, very huge part of Mesoamerican culture as well. So, you know, here in North America, down with the Mayans and Aztecs, they, you know, figured out gold, and you put shiny, beautiful rocks with gold. And they also really perfected drilling.
Okay.
And they perfected drilling with like what we know when we think of those like saw bows that can start fire. So it's a bent stick with some type of a twine, so it would be a plant-based thing, and a reed, and they would end up just spinning it so fast with like stone tips, and they were drills.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. So they also use bones, like bone tips as well for their tools. And the crazy part is that most of that stuff did not change until the 1400s. Up until that point, it was all just chisel it with this, smash it with that, rub it with this abrasive, sands, salts, the gravel that came off the other rocks.
Yeah.
It's always been the same. In the same terms of sculptural arts have not evolved. They're the same because it just gets mechanized eventually.
Yeah.
But it's still the same exact process.
Yeah.
Which I love too. So in the 1400s, these new tools were invented, and they came up with these genius things that really just changed the stone world forever. Because, up until then, like I said, precious stones could only be so polished, and it all had to be done by hand. You would do like a piece of suede and just buff it forever.
Man.
And you're literally talking days of buffing. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But I'm sure they also realized that water surfaces would do natural buffing and rolling too. But can you imagine, like, let's just leave it in the river, it'll do it. It will. Yeah. Maybe in 3 decades. So in 1476, a man named Ludwig von Berchem came on to the lapidary art scene, and he was a lapidary artist, and he got credit for inventing the horizontal grinding wheel. So this is a disc that, instead of, say, would be standing up like a tire, it's laying down horizontally. And as the wheel grinds, you just hold the stone on it. And it worked the same simple mechanics as a spinning wheel, a foot pedal, and a very simple, I'm like, honk, honk, nobody can see it, but yeah, it's very simple arms up and down rotations, very simple, and it would spin it. So it worked really well. But you had to use 2 hands, you had to push and manipulate while you're pedaling. So, it took a very long time. And they would use whetstones and water, but it still took a really long time, obviously. But it's cut down immensely on the amount of time. But here's the only little problem with that, was that in 1439, a manuscript was found that had text written about a horizontal grinding wheel already.
Oh.
So in reality, what he likely did was he took this idea and he improved on the original design.
Okay.
And one of the things that he added, which was genius, was diamond dust to the surface of the grinding stone. Because over time of just trial and error, we realized that diamonds are the hardest on the Mohs scale.
Yeah.
Diamonds can cut diamond. So his diamond powder wasn't adhered to the surface, but he put it in the surface. So it was going to be in all the little pores of the rock. I could not find anything that said he used any kind of anything, but any kind of material you'd put on there is going to add to drag. Yeah. So I'm guessing he just sprinkled a little bit at a time, probably.
Just thinking of like
on your
skin. Yeah.
So this really changed the quality and the sharpness that you would be able to get on the beveled sides. And a bevel is just an angle at which precious gemstones are cut to make them refract light and makes them look sparkly and beautiful.
Yeah, like a cushion cut. Those are so pretty.
Yeah. So he was getting amazing, and everybody loved his work. And he got a special request from the Duke of Burgundy for a really gorgeous shaped stone that is now referred to as, I believe, the Sancy diamond. And it's really beautiful, and the picture will be in the Instagram. Of course, this is in the 1400s, so it's not cut like a perfect teardrop, but it's big. It's like the size of, like, someone was holding it up to the front of their eye.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's like pupils, like most of the eye.
Like the whole socket?
No,
like,
just what
like
you're
a
showing
eyeball?
of your, just what's showing. So it's like eyelid to eyelid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's like a decent size. And it's a really beautiful, and it's it's like a puffy teardrop. And it's really, really pretty. And so we changed a little bit here, and in 1609, so I mean we're talking 1439 to 200 almost years, and nothing has changed. And another lapidary artist named Anselmus Boetius de Boot started using other gemstone powders, just like Ludwig had done with the diamond powder. But instead, Anselmus was using gemstone powders that, while not as effective as diamonds, because it took a little bit longer, it was way more cost effective. So he would use sapphire, emerald, and ruby powders.
Okay.
Really quickly after that, when they started realizing, oh, there is a cheaper alternative, let's figure out what else is even cheaper than that. So artisans started adding in emery, which is, a lot of us know an emery board is a nail file. It's a very thin piece of cardboard that is embedded with emery. I never knew what the hell emery was. It's its own stone.
Oh.
It's a very abrasive, crack upable, like it crumbles pretty finely, and it is like charcoal colored. And it has a lot of other minerals in it, like irons and stuff. It's just scratchy. It's very interesting. And so with water and this emery, it really changed the game, because it could do it even faster and even cheaper. It still wasn't going to be as good or as fast as diamond powder, but it was even more affordable and attainable for the average person that doesn't have leftover ruby dust.
Yeah.
So,
or diamond.
Yeah, exactly. So now here we go. We're welcoming to the 1800s. So again, another 200 years comes and goes, and the boom of the Industrial Revolution, I almost said resolution, has happened. And it's funny, because as I was doing this research, it made me remember, like, again, squirrel brain. Have you heard there's like a bowhead whale that's like, I wrote it down too, approximately 268 years old.
That's crazy.
It's like before the Industrial Revolution.
That's crazy.
Yeah. They say that they're not like really great at like testing the ages of those kinds of things, because they'd have to like stab it or catch it. But they're pretty sure from like descriptions that it's the same one from all this time. It's like Moby Dick. Sorry. Anyway, so the Industrial Revolution came, and that, as we've talked about, changed everything.
Yeah.
Paper, fabric, everything was up and more affordable and attainable for everybody. And with that also came electricity eventually, and that changed things too, because we didn't have to do a little foot pedal anymore. But these were still incredibly bulky, not anything reasonable for the average person to have inside of their house. And on top of that, it was not something that, like, if, like, say back here when the Duke wanted that diamond, he had to like ship a diamond that big and hope nobody stole it. Like, I can't imagine somebody requests special things and you're going back and forth, you're doing work. So in 1823, John Maywee, he drew up and he invented a portable faceting machine. So a portable grinding and faceting machine. And his faceting machine was so amazing, because it ended up being pretty huge in the end still, but between like little plugins and magic, it was pretty cool when that had come through. At this point also, science really started to understand crystalline structures, and that stones have grains. If you're going to cut in half a stone, you're going to try to break it in half. If you break it here, it breaks better. Breaks here, breaks bigger. So realizing these things, and how different angles and too much pressure could literally explode something like a ruby. Yeah. All of these things mattered. They were learning so much. And then with these new machines coming out and the electricity that's coming, like, they were able to, again, always perfect, make it better, make it cleaner, and more attainable. Because if you can do it faster, you can do it cheaper. Yeah. Excuse me. So, we only bounce forward about another 100 years. And electricity, holy moly, it really ended up taking off and changing things. And
Yeah.
in 1954, a man named Paul Blackmer created a new cutter. And because the way my brain works, I'm like, I'll explain these bits. But his lap plate, the lap plate is the name of the abrasive surface that we add on top of the grinding wheels now. So you can just swap it out fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Instead of just this grinding wheel is only this grit and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
So you can swap out your lap plates. So he made a specific kind of grinding wheel lap plate that was plated. And it was infused with the crushed diamonds. He was the very first person that was able to infuse the diamonds into the plate on the stone so that the diamonds didn't come out.
Yeah.
And so these would last forever. I mean, I'm sure that company was probably pretty pissed. But these plates, again, cheaper because you're not going to grind it down. It's going to last not forever, but
a lot
years
longer.
and years and years. Yes.
Yeah.
So crazy, but this is the cutthroat world of inventions. He actually had competition the same exact year. Two men, both named Don, Don Barry and Don Hurst, came out with their own lap plate that was ceramic. Hard enough to cut diamonds.
What?
And cheaper. Because I think it's because ceramic has a tooth.
I'm like, ceramic? You didn't really think like ceramic versus diamond?
I know. I think it's because like Kevlar is a type of ceramic. They're like fiber. I don't know. It's weird. It's plastic, poly. It's weird.
Yeah. So that's what the ring, when we were shopping for Jack's wedding band, we were between, was it titanium and ceramic?
Yeah.
But ceramic, like, I think the titanium would break off, but the ceramic wouldn't.
Would deglove your finger.
And it would deglove your finger like Jimmy Fallon. Yeah.
Yeah, scary.
So, so he was working at Home Depot at that time. And so he's like, no, I'm not losing my finger on the job.
I have almost accident, like, I can only imagine how scary because of how painful. My, like, anniversary ring that Kurt gave me is like a Maleficent, so it looks like a mirror kind of, and it's pointy on the top, and a couple of times I've had it catch on something and pinch and yank my finger enough that I'm like, that's how that happens.
Yeah.
And it's so scary. And they have like those silicone
but yeah,
ones.
that's why we were like, the ceramic was really cool, and they did have like nice designs, but it was like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, ceramic is pretty strong.
It really is. So because of this, again, the world is changing, and something super crazy that ended up happening, not that long ago, was the creation of synthetic diamonds. So then synthetic diamonds were made, which made the lap plates cheaper because then they could be imbibed with synthetic diamonds. And that's how we have like diamond nail files and stuff, is because it's the powder bits, and it's pretty cool. So the crazy part is like, that's it.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that today, all of us can do lapidary art, and most of us have, if you have a rock tumbler.
Yeah.
And we do. We have a lot.
I've got another one.
Yeah. So rock tumbling absolutely counts because it's an intentional tumbling of stones to change their shape and to make them more beautiful, and it makes them more valuable as well. And it is a very long process, as we know. And that is one of the things that was interesting that I found out now, was I had always wondered, like, what was inside of those little packets? It's emery.
Yeah.
The gray, black.
Yes,
Yeah.
the sparkly bits.
So as you go on, because the emery also, like I said, it's made up of a lot of other minerals, including a lot of iron and something. It's crazy. And so when you tumble the rocks, you start with the rocks in a little barrel and water, and then you add in these different grit packages. Pretty much, if you have a lot of patience, it's better, and we don't. So it's like a week, then you go to the next grit, but really you should be like 3 weeks in between would be ideal. And then you swap it out. But one of the things I've talked about us doing that I think we'll do here is that, because we do a lot of rock tumbling and we need some more for fun.
Because I just got that yesterday.
And I still have a bunch of rocks left over I never did, because one of my tumblers died because we use it too much. Is that the rinse out, if you rinse it out and dry it, you can add water and make it into clay.
Oh,
You
that makes
can make
sense.
clay. Yeah, so I'm like, we got to do that. So anyway, so yes, anyone can do that. The kits are pretty affordable for the most part. We got ours through the school, but you can get one under $50 on Amazon.
Yeah,
with
it
rocks
wasn't even
and
that much. It
and
was the
great.
National
I
Geographic.
think it was like 36.
No, it was more than that. I can't remember, but yeah, it's the rock tumbler. It comes with all the rocks and stuff. It's like
and the
it's
grit
a lot
and
of
everything.
fun.
Yeah, it's really, but it
And then you
definitely is a good exercise for patience as
Yeah.
well, because I have a hard time waiting. I'm like
Yeah.
looking at it every day.
And you can buy extra rocks and
Yeah,
grit and
refills.
stuff. Just yesterday, it was so funny because we were cleaning out the garage. We started clearing off that washing machine, and I grabbed the rock tumbler and I shook it. There's still rocks and stuff in there from last
my
year.
god! Did it
forgot about it.
evaporate?
No, it still has water in it.
Oh,
It's sealed up.
Oh,
Because Jack was like, yeah, Lily
That's
was
funny.
like, oh, can we open the rock tumbler and get the rocks? And he's like, oh, there's no rocks in there, baby. And
she's like,
there-
yes, there is. I
Yeah.
remember.
Yep, there are.
That is so funny.
Yeah, so we need to do the rock
We
tumbler
totally do.
again. I'm like, I don't even know what cycle that was.
Start over. Just check.
So I had patience because I forgot.
Exactly. So tumbling actually falls into one of the 3 categories of lapidary arts. This was longer than my crime last week.
Yeah.
Yes. So one of 3 categories of lapidary arts, which are pretty broad, as we've talked about. You could just a little kid banging on a rock, lapidary arts.
Yeah.
But they include the cabochon cutting and faceting. So I've explained the tumbling. The cabochon would be after the tumbling. The rock is already polished and beautiful. Excuse me. Our allergies
And
are
then
just
do
killing
you
us.
shape it after?
Yeah, the cabochon means you're making a flat back on it.
Okay.
So that it can be set into like a flat pendant, a flat bracelet, a flat
okay.
ring. So you have your
Like, we could
beautiful
do
part.
that.
We totally could. And so with your faceting and the cabochoning, which is called cabbing,
Okay.
we use...
I was like, is it cabochon?
Yeah, cabochoning. It's cabbing. So with cabbing and faceting, you use a tool. So fancy. It's called a lapidary stick. And so back in the day, I don't have information, but I'm guessing they probably use like a hard wax. Some
Okay.
kind of a glue, like probably a natural lacquer glue to hold it on. And we just use it's called when when you use it and you stick it onto there, that's being called dopped. D-O-P-P-E-D, dopped. Or dopping. And they use something called a dopping cement, which is a thermal adhesive to hold it in place on a steel rod.
Okay.
So the lapidary stick is just a steel rod, and the thermal adhesive would be like, it will come off with a lot of heat, but not the heat generated by the grinding, because
Okay.
that will get hot enough to burn
Yeah.
your fingers.
Yeah.
For sure. Excuse me. So now, one of the things that's really, really interesting is that diamonds. Well, what can you use for diamonds? Because they have to be ground for so long. Diamonds warm up so much, they have to use a special mechanical gripper, like a third hand, a special mechanical gripper, or they use, when we say low temp, it's still like 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, a low temp tin solder. So they have to solder it on because it will get so hot that it will melt off the dopping cement. So anyway, we use a constant stream of water. So in machines, they actually have like a little it's always bubbling water out. But old school ones that they still have, you just splash it. You're just splashing. And so the water has to continue to cool it so that the cement won't melt, but also too much heat and the gem can explode. Like literally explode.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I've watched it happen on one of those gem hunting shows, like maybe the Outback Opal Hunters. I love that show so much. But I've watched that happen where they had like a $20,000 stone and he was cutting it and it exploded because it got too hot.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So actually, I'm just about to talk about it now. When we cut rocks, we just use a saw. It's a saw and it's just super, super thin, like a band saw, but it is embedded with diamonds as well. I couldn't find anything exactly because, again, when you're talking about an artisan thing that's been around for like 2,000 plus years, I don't know how they cut them back then outside of just smashing them apart. I couldn't find that part. Okay. So here's some, like, I don't have like necessarily fun facts, but one of the things that I love a lot, and I have a couple of these on my bucket list, is that at least in North America, I'm not sure about anywhere else, but in North America, there are a bunch of places that someone just like you and I can go rock hunting at. And a couple of my favorites are, one of them is the Royal Peacock Opal Mine, and that's in Nevada. And you can go there and you can actually go camping there. Mine is only open from, I believe, because it's so hot.
Yeah.
They close during like the hottest part of the year and the coldest part of the year. And what they do is they dig out a wall for you and you can go through that, which is called the tailings. So it's really been dug up and it costs a little bit more, or you can just dig through like the crap on the ground. And when I say it costs a little bit more, you bring your own tools. You can rent theirs too if you want, but it's like $95.
Oh, okay.
And anything you find, you get to keep.
That's cool.
Yeah, you get to keep any of it. And they've had really big finds there too. And they don't try to, but they will buy it from you.
Yeah.
So if you want to sell it on site, you can sell it to them on site. And you'd likely get more money for it than you would at a jeweler.
Yeah.
Jewelers are dirty. So, excuse me. That's like totally on my bucket list. I want to go so bad. There's another one called the Ocean View Mine in San Diego County. It just happens to be that, these are West Coast, but there's a couple other that aren't. And you can dig your own tourmaline and morganite. And you can take home like a big 5-gallon bucket of rocks and backfill. But like, because the other ones, you can't do that. So you can take some home and like go through it at home without like the sun on you.
Yeah.
Another one that's really, really famous, this location is in Arkansas, in Murfreesboro, and it's the Crater of Diamonds State Park. And I think I've seen a lot of these in articles, and you can dig up and keep your own, all the diamonds you find.
That's cool.
There's actually a lot of other stones there too, because it was from the impact of a giant meteor. And so it basically looks like a wildflower field. It's like grassy and you're just like pluck, pluck.
That's crazy.
Like the Peacock Opal Mines looks like you're in a quarry. Like it's dirty, dusty, rocky. But this is just like, I'm digging through a field.
That's crazy.
Now get this. Just in December of last year, 2023, a man from Arkansas found a 4.87 carat diamond.
Whoa.
So like there's legitimately rocks coming out of here.
That's cool.
And then this is so crazy. I remember hearing about a little boy, but I couldn't find it. A little boy had found a diamond there that was huge too. And he found like a rare color. A French man just last month. So for us, when we're recording this, it's coming up the end of February. So just January, barely even a full month ago, a French man found a 7.46 carat diamond.
Whoa.
Yep. And they'll buy them from you too, or you can keep them. And it's like 100% legal. And I do believe that one does cost a little bit more, but you can find like, people found pink diamonds, like all of them. There, it's so I'm going to do that so bad.
Like turn that into a necklace.
I know, right? And then last but not least, this is one that I left because it's I got one like in Arkansas that's kind of southern Midwesty. I'm like, it's going over there. But here's another one in North Carolina, and it's called the Emerald Hollow Mine. And you don't just find emeralds there. Of course you can, but you can find sapphires, aquamarines, tourmalines, topaz. Topaz is one of my favorite. Topaz is a good dupe if you like diamonds but can't afford them. The like white topaz will look just like it. And to anybody that doesn't know, they won't know. They're so pretty. So yeah, I think those are super fun. I would love to do those. I've asked Kurt, like, could we like later in life go on a road trip and just go to all those places and like dig up rocks and get really bad sunburns? But so yeah, anybody, you can go out and get yourself a cheap little rock tumbler, make yourself some lapidary art.
I know. I'm like,
let's go set up the rock tumbler.
I know. I'm like, we're totally setting it up today.
Seriously, I think I still have some grit left, but I absolutely have rocks.
Oh, I have rocks.
I have to buy more grit
left. I think I still have grit left.
Do you have the little spongy bits for the polishing?
I think I might.
I've never used those before, but they have ceramic ones too.
Yeah.
They have little ceramic balls that you add in with the grit at the last step, and it helps knock them around.
Yeah, I have like the rubber cubes. That came in the kit. Oh, well, yeah, because I bought a new kit.
I swear those are just little magic eraser cubes. I think they're just melamine because the melamine is abrasive.
they're really dense.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're not like thin spongy. They're like hard sponge. Or it's hard rubber almost.
So it's really like forcing them to rub up against those hard rocks.
Yeah, so I'm like, ooh, we'll have to do that. And then I'm like, Then do we just like grind them and like shape them? I'm like, I was thinking as you were saying, like, oh, you found like a 2-carat, diamond. I'm like, I would totally take that and like shape this into a diamond for a ring and like wear that and like, I found this. This was free.
I have actually looked up like there is a lapidary society really close to us.
Oh,
like,
really?
Within, I'm not going to say, but like
how many miles?
10. Not even 10.
Really?
My friend used to go there, and you can use all their tools.
That's
you pay a small fee, and it's like a gemological society of some kind that I'm not going to say the name of because I just said how close it is. But
that is crazy.
Super close. And I've talked to you about it once before, but it was like right before we moved in next door.
Mm-hmm.
And just a bunch of old people hanging out grinding rocks. And they do like do like field trips, and they go like rock hunting.
Old people field trips?
Because the thing is, that's another thing. These gemological societies, they know people who have private mines. So they will go to private mines, and I've seen videos on Facebook where people will be like, where is this at? And he'll tell them like, sorry, it's a private mine. And he's digging out amethyst the size of his arm. That's how you have to get, that's how you get in there. You have to join these gemological societies, and you pay your dues. It's like not that much. I think for this one, I checked one time, it's like in the 60 or 70 a year. Wow. And it gives you access to whatever they do, cool. And their tools.
Amethyst is my favorite.
They are really pretty.
It's absolutely my favorite. Yeah.
It is so pretty. Let's see. I'm like rock grinder. I had found one time, and it had really good reviews, and I want to say it was like under $100.
It's so itchy. I don't know why. It's allergies. It's
my allergies are driving me nuts.
And oh my gosh. But yeah, we definitely need to get out the rock tumbler.
Look at this. Mini bench grinder. It has 4.1 stars.
Okay.
Mini bench grinder with variable speed for polishing, buffing, and jewelry making. It looks just like the kind of grinders my dad would use back in the day in the garage. And it's not even $80.
Oh.
And it even has like a rotary tool.
Oh. Huh,
cool. Like what we would know as a Dremel tool.
Yeah.
Is a rotary tool.
Yeah. That's
cool. So it's like there's a bunch of them. I'm like professional, high rated, and I mean obviously these are like $1,000 machines eventually when you want like good ones but just to practice and do like small scale for fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that place I was telling you about, they have all the equipment there too. So that's kind of what you're paying for, is they have like classes on cutting stones, and you're probably just learning from a dude that has a flannel just like mine and a beard and really callousy hands. But yeah, I know. Cool. We should totally do it.
Yeah, we will.
We will do it.
Okay, well, my crime, I told you I was like, I did this like over a week ago.
Yeah.
And
this was your back-to-back one, right?
Yeah, because I researched my last crime. And then, no, this wasn't my back-to-back. Oh, wait. Yes, it was. I can't remember. I've done a back-to-back a couple times.
Yeah.
No, I did. Yeah. So I don't remember.
Yeah. No, I did. I don't remember.
No, it wasn't my back-to-back. It was my, I did it on Monday last week. That's the one where I was like, oh my gosh, I just did my crime, because I was looking up like possible like cases that I could cover. And then this one popped up and I was like, I've never heard of this. And so I was like, I like doing those.
Nice. I do too.
But this will actually be our first official covering of a cult.
Oh.
Yeah, we've never done a cult yet.
No, we have not.
So this is Angel's Landing and not the rock formation in Utah. This is
I wouldn't have known.
I'm like, Angel's Landing, that's it. In Utah. No. This actually takes place in Wichita, Kansas. So Lou Castro and a bunch of people move into this huge like 10-acre property, and they called it Angel's Landing.
Okay.
It was purchased by Patricia Hughes. Lou and Patricia were not married. Patricia was married to someone else. They were just close friends. So they move into this 10-acre property, and then an additional 10 acres were purchased, and 2 more houses were built on the property, which brings a total to 4 houses on 20 acres.
Okay.
So it's clear that these people had a lot of money, this group of people. They all had like really expensive cars, and each one had a personalized license plate that said Angel 1, another car, Angel 2, all the way through till Angel 8.
That's interesting. That those
8
were
cars.
available.
Yeah. So Angel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So clearly the name of the place is Angel's Landing, and all the cars having Angel on the plates. It's like a little culty because it's like, what's with the angel stuff? Like, it's just a little weird. And all of these people move from like all over the United States. So they're not like all from one place and they just like move together, or like a family. So it's just like they're all different people. So Lou Castro was the one in charge, and Patricia, or Trish as they called her, was the other one in charge. She's like the matriarch. So Lou and Trish told everybody that Lou had gotten really sick and died and then came back. And because of this, get this, he could tell when someone would die. And because of him, you would come back.
Oh.
So everyone believed that he had these powers, and that is what kind of brought everyone to Angel's Landing. And yeah.
It's so sad because it's not like, to just be so impressionable as an adult. It's sad, like, trying to find that something.
Yeah. And so they're all thinking, like, he's an angel. He came back and he can tell when someone's going to die and, you know, whatever. Well, they did have a lot of money. It was they had a pretty extravagant lifestyle, like, you know, nice cars, and they never went without. So it was, everyone was pretty comfortable and living all together. So then on June 26, 2003, one of the girls named Sarah, she's actually comes up a lot in this. What I watched on this this whole case, she was in the documentary a lot. So so her name's Sarah.
Okay.
So this is June 26, 2003. Sarah is on her way to a car dealership, and Lou was going to follow behind her shortly. And they were going to get a new car, another car. And then she gets a call from her sister, Emily, saying to get home now because Trish fell in the pool.
Oh, no.
So when she gets there, she finds out Trish is dead. And her death looked like an accidental drowning. There was a mark, like they showed the picture at autopsy. There was like a mark on her forehead that would show that she had like slipped and fallen, hitting her head, and then falling into the pool unconscious and drowning.
Yeah.
So Lou was telling all of them, like, she's going to come back. And, you know, they all believed this.
Yeah.
And he would tell all them that going to the other side was the ultimate goal. So Trisha's husband, Brian, was like distraught that his wife's gone and she's not coming back.
Yeah.
You know? Lou was talking to him a lot, comforting him. And, you know, Lou had told Brian that one day he was going to get his chance to go to the other side. Well, then 3 years later, almost 3 years later, on March 2nd, 2006, while Brian was at work, this is Trisha's husband.
Okay.
He worked as a diesel mechanic. Jack slipped and the car fell onto him and crushed him to death.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So this is kind of suspicious because both Trish and Brian died from these freak accidents in like less than 3 years span. Yeah. So since the drowning with Trish happened at Angel's Landing, and then now her husband is killed in an accident, detectives are like a little suspicious. Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So they reach out to the FBI to get more information on Lou Castro. A 50-state search came up with nothing. No paper trail at all.
Okay.
Everyone else living at Angel's Landing can be found through a database search, like, you know, cars registered to them, financial information, all of this. So then they start looking at transactions, and detectives can see that they were all buying life insurance policies and like big life insurance policies. And looking at bank balances, they could see that in about 2.5 years, the money would slowly start to run out, and then a huge insurance payout would be issued when someone died.
Oh, God. They're like, you have to die now for everybody to not be poor.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Trish had a $1.42 million insurance policy.
Thanks.
And that money was given to her husband, Brian, when she died. And when Brian died, his insurance money went to the family that he was living with.
Yeah.
And so, like, at first, detectives were thinking, like, oh, maybe Lou and all these people are, like, involved in narcotics. And now they're thinking, okay, this is starting to look like insurance, like a cult, maybe where they're killing themselves or each other for insurance money. So,
yikes.
Yeah. So I am going to tell, before we get into it further, what a cult is characterized by. Okay. So according to the Cult Education Institute, yes, there's a Cult Education Institute, there are specific warning signs to look out for when considering whether or not a group might be a cult.
Okay.
So cults are characterized by these 10 things. Absolute authoritarianism without accountability.
Okay. So you listen to me, but nothing's my fault.
Yes. Zero tolerance for criticism or questions. Don't question how I can tell you're going to die. And,
right.
Yeah, give me all your money. Lack of meaningful financial disclosure regarding budget.
So give me all your money, but I'm not going to tell you how much we have.
Yeah, but you're going to live comfortably.
Yeah, maybe.
Unreasonable fears about the outside world that often involve evil conspiracies and persecutions.
Yeah.
Not so much this, but a belief that former followers are always wrong for leaving and there is never a legitimate reason for anyone else to leave. Abuse of members, records, books, articles, or programs documenting the abuses of the leader or group, followers feeling they are never able to be good enough, a belief that the leader is right at all times, and a belief that the leader is the exclusive means of knowing, quote, truth or giving validation.
Oh.
So, yeah. Okay. Lou Castro had everyone wholeheartedly believing everything he said, and they didn't question it. Yeah. And they did what he said without question. So this girl, Sarah, comes up again. He told her that she was broken. She's a rebellious, teenager, and he used that to berate her, put her down. You're just rebellious. She didn't want to follow the rules.
Yeah.
So one day he was home with Sarah, and he told her that since she was broken, he needed to fix her so that she could one day get married and have kids.
Ew.
That is when he raped her.
Of course. Ew.
Afterwards,
poor thing.
She asked him if she was fixed now, and he said he was going to have to keep having sex with her in order for her to stay fixed.
Ew.
He also told her that if she told anyone what happened, he was going to kill her dad.
Not that it matters, but how old is she?
17, I think, at this time.
Okay, yeah, that definitely matters. But I mean, nobody at any age, rape doesn't matter how old you are. Okay. Because I was like, why would, obviously someone would be like, don't tell anybody, but that is a really I'm going to kill your parent. It's something you tell children.
It goes a little deeper because when it is apparent that he is abusing young girls, he convinced his followers that he was a centuries-old angel
oh my God.
Who needed to have sex with young girls to stay alive.
Ew.
Yes.
What, he was going to absorb their life energy?
I don't know.
Like an energy vampire?
Yeah. So one of the here's the thing is detectives don't have a crime. They have an assumption of a suspicion that maybe this, these accidents were not accidents. And so they're like, we don't really have a crime, but also at the same time, they don't know who this guy is. They can't find him in the database.
Right.
So one of the detectives was driving around and he noticed the personalized license plate on a car, Angel, whatever number.
Yeah.
So he followed it to a diner. Lou Castro was one of the people in the car. So the detective, follows him inside, takes a seat nearby, and then he lets a waitress know who he was and asked if he could gather the dishes to hopefully get a fingerprint to identify him. And unfortunately, there was no fingerprint that could be found on any of the dishes. And, there's just no way. They're like, how are we going to get his fingerprints? This plan didn't work.
Yeah.
So one night, Lou sat Sarah and her sister Emily down, and he tells them it's Jennifer's turn to die.
Oh no.
Jennifer is their mom.
Oh my God.
So Sarah goes up to her mom and tells her what he told them, and her mom is like, don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere. But then on September 22nd, 2008, Sarah couldn't get a hold of her mom all day, which was really strange. So then later that evening, Lou comes in and he says, Jennifer has been in an accident.
That you caused.
Yeah, she was in a collision with a semi-truck and killed instantly.
Oh, no.
So detectives, of course, are then notified that yet another person from Angel's Landing has been killed in an accident. So they look at reports from witnesses, and they could see that Jennifer would have absolutely seen the truck.
Yeah.
People are like, I don't know why she just went like straight into the truck. So now they're thinking, okay, maybe this was a suicide.
Because she's convinced she'll come back.
Yeah. So they're thinking, okay, now this is a suicide, maybe not an accident. This is also conveniently 2.5 years after Brian's death. So they're
running out of money.
Yeah. So they look at the accounts again, and they could see that Brian's life insurance money had been used up. And now, with Jennifer's death, accounts full again. So they're like, this is, we absolutely now need to figure out who is this Lou Castro guy.
Yeah.
We need to get his fingerprints. So they go out. They now have a plan. So they go out to Angel's Landing with the plan that they're going to show him some photographs of some suspicious people they might have seen around.
Yeah.
And these pictures are glossy, because glossy photos will grab a fingerprint pretty easy.
Yeah, yeah.
So they talk to Lou, and they hand him the envelope, with the photographs in it. And he takes the envelope, dumps out the pictures on a pool table, and then he moves them around with his fingernail, the tip of his finger, and make sure he does not touch the surface of any of these photos with his finger. And so they're like, he's on. He knows what we're trying to get. He knows we're trying to get, he knows we're trying to get his fingerprint to see who he is. So once again, they're like, dang it, we cannot get this guy's fingerprints.
Yeah.
Because there's no crime that they're like, oh, we need to bring you in. And, you can't just, I don't know. It was, that would be so frustrating.
Accidental death is death. Like, it's not, there's no proof that someone has killed someone else. It's just some weird insurance fraud while people are dying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's something going on, but there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, they can't prove anything, and they don't even know who the guy is. They can't get his fingerprints.
That's weird.
And it's not a crime to not be able to get someone's fingerprints.
Right.
So after detectives went out to Angel's Landing that day, Lou started to act suspicious. He told everyone, like, they're out to get me. So, let's go to Tennessee. Yeah. So they go, he decides to go to Tennessee in search of houses to, find a new startup area. And Sarah's sister, Emily, decided to go along to Tennessee with Lou. But Sarah was like, I'm done. I'm done. This has been years that she had been abused. So she's free now from Lou and all of his control. And then she starts dating a guy named Daniel. She moves on, with her independent life. But after a while, Lou calls her up, and she still has some hold on her, and she can't just hang up. And her boyfriend's like, what is going on? And, this man had assaulted her for 8 years of her life, into adulthood. And so after this phone call, basically her boyfriend was took the phone and hung up and was like, what is going on? So after this, she tells her boyfriend everything that happened to her. So he decides to send an email to the FBI and tell them everything. He tells them that his girlfriend escaped from an abusive cult-like environment, and that Lou Castro changed his name to Joe Venegas. Oh. Because that came out in this phone call. So he went on to say that he has gotten a lot of money from multiple life insurance policies.
Oh, God. How many other people died?
And threatened to kill anyone who talked about it. So detectives are looking into, let's try to find a bank account in Tennessee with this name, Joe Venegas. They find a bank account. They contact the bank to get the surveillance from when the account was opened. And they see Lou Castro on the footage. This is bank fraud. So now they have a crime.
Opening a bank in the wrong name.
Because
you have to have a social and everything to do that. Okay.
And so this is bank fraud, and that's a federal crime.
Yeah, exactly. So got him.
Yeah. So at this point,
how many times are these crimes caught by something fucking stupid? Thank goodness for idiocy. Yeah.
So at this point, it's getting close to the 2-year mark. Yeah. So they're like, we need to,
you haven't learned how to budget $1.5 million for 2.
Right?
Come on now.
Oh my gosh, look at my microphone.
What is happening today?
No, but my microphone is falling off so many times. Sorry. Okay, I was just why is it slowly going down?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Slipping off. So yeah, so it's coming up to the 2-year mark, and so they're like, someone's gonna end up dying next, and that account's gonna be full again.
Yeah.
So they immediately go out to Tennessee to execute a search warrant. And Lou's actually like walking out of the house, like holding his boots, and is like obviously surprised. And they immediately arrest him.
Ta-da!
So he was taken over to the local jail and fingerprinted, and this was then sent over to run through the database.
What's his real name?
Results came in with the criminal record for Daniel Perez. So which
is really weird because that girl's new boyfriend is named Daniel.
Oh yeah, that is right. Oh, that's weird.
But she didn't know that.
So no. So he was then indicted for aggravated identity. Aggravated identity theft and social security fraud, and he got 2 years in prison.
Okay.
So now detectives know they have 2 years to gather as much information about the 3 deaths in order to build a case against him if he had anything to do with it.
Because it counts if...
Our microphones are like
my little mic buffer. Ooh, listen how loud I am.
I know.
My little mic buffer just
went
killed
like
it. So
sideways. It just like
what was I saying?
I was talking about
because forcing someone to kill themselves counts. Like you'll get in trouble for that. Like you can't just tell someone to kill themselves.
Yeah. So detectives are like, we got to figure this out. So first they talk to Sarah, and she tells them about all of the abuse she endured by Lou Castro. She had to give them like specific details of everything.
I'm sorry. How old is she right now?
She's like 24, 25. No, she left when she was 24. So she's like in her 20s.
Yeah.
So they also talked to her sister, Emily, and Emily starts telling them what happened that day that Trish died. So remember, Emily was the one that called and Trish fell in the pool.
Yeah.
So
with a head bonk.
Yes. So originally, Emily had told her sister and first responders that Trish had slipped and fallen, hitting her head, and then passed out into the pool, and that's how she drowned.
Yeah.
What actually happened was Lou told Emily that he was going to kill Trish. Yeah. So he sends Sarah to the car dealership and is like, I'll be right behind you, and sends Emily into the pool house. While she was waiting in the pool house, she heard a splash and a scream and then nothing.
Oh, wow.
Lou came to the pool house to get her and told her to wait 20 minutes and then call 911.
So her, like, if she had any lungs with water, like
give her time to die or whatever.
Like
I don't know.
Get water settled or whatever.
Yeah, so that's what she did. She was told to tell that specific story, that Trish had slipped, fallen in the pool, and that's all the detectives needed. They knew he killed her.
Yeah.
He told someone he was going to kill her and then had her hide and fabricate this whole story.
Yeah. But she didn't see what had happened.
No, she heard.
Okay.
So he told her, I'm going to kill her. Then she hears a scream and a splash, or a splash and a scream, So Lou Castro, who was really Daniel Perez, was indicted for 28 counts, including rape, child exploitation, fraud, and the murder of Patricia Hughes.
Good.
So people,
at least one of them.
So people who lived at Angel's Landing, like with him, testified against him.
Good.
Sarah
I'm surprised. A lot of times people won't.
But I think they realize, like, oh my gosh, it was all insurance, and he was just telling us all these lies. So Sarah testified. She actually like had trouble getting up to the stand. Like she basically like fell to the floor, started hyperventilating, but she did end up being able to testify, and so did her sister. One of the testimonies, I have the actual quote from one of the testimonies. Well, it was during the sentencing hearing. Said, quote, I was 10 when my childhood was over. While other 10-year-olds were riding bikes or playing with dolls, I was laying naked on a bed with a pillow over my head just waiting for it to be over. While other 13-year-olds were getting boyfriends and holding hands, I was holding on to my secret and losing the people I loved one by one. When other 16-year-olds were experiencing the freedom of learning how to drive and planning parties with their friends, I was planning my own death every day when I drove to school. So all of his victims were between the ages of 8 to 16, like the youngest, but he continued to assault, Sarah up through adulthood.
Yeah.
So this is according to the Kansas Bureau of Investigation Sex Offender Registry. So Daniel Perez took the stand to try to defend himself.
I bet.
It didn't work at all.
Yeah.
No.
He's all on Jesus.
He was found guilty of all 28 charges, and he was sentenced to 80 years So never getting out.
Yeah.
Brian and Jennifer's deaths were still considered accidental, but it was kind of clear that Jennifer committed suicide. So somehow he had convinced her to kill herself, like you said, because she's going to come back.
Right.
Or it could have been manipulation of like, well, we need your insurance money so your daughters don't, so we don't run out of money, blah,
so
blah,
they
blah,
don't starve.
whatever.
You're doing everybody a favor.
Yeah,
You're
so
helping everyone.
I don't know what.
That's sad.
So yeah, it's a cult, and he did convince, whether he convinced Jennifer or not, which he probably did, but then think about Brian.
Yeah.
He could have just committed suicide because he was so distraught over his
That's true.
wife, but who's not to say that Lou didn't come by and just, because like mechanics, he's a diesel mechanic, so he's pretty, safety conscious. You don't want a car falling on you, so there's different specific steps you take. And then Jack just falls and crushes him. So I don't know.
Yikes.
But yeah, so that's the centuries old angel called Angel's Landing. So
wow.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It's weird because it sounds like kind of familiar. The name sounds kind of familiar, but then at the same time it doesn't. And my stupid thing keeps
I know. I think we need to do maintenance. We're coming up on a year.
Like take everything
coming up
off.
on a year, you guys.
I can't believe it.
I think we started, well, yeah, I know our date is, our first episode came out on my birthday, but I think we recorded that like the week before or something like that. So we're coming up on a year. This is episode 51.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. And we're doing more on Patreon. We'll start announcing that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We have exciting new things coming up and different tiers for different things.
Yeah.
And
we started a buy me a coffee too. So technically you can do that right now, but there's no content over there at this moment because everything will be there too.
That's what I should work on this week.
Yeah, but one of the cool things about buy me a coffee is that you can just do like an individual. It's like you can buy one coffee. I think it's $5 or something like that. So it's like an individual tip basis basically if you just want to drop some money, or you can do like a subscription, like just like Patreon too.
Yeah, Patreon, you get access to more content, and I guess we could kind of talk about a little bit of what's coming up. So we right now just have Mommies After Hours, and that is just for fun. It's just us chit chat. If you like the chit chat part, and us, we do a lot of
chicken and kids and games.
Yeah, but it's a lot of games and
swearing.
It's a lot of swearing.
I have a potty mouth. It's me.
Yeah. It's me sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are going to add more games and stuff to that. We have a lot. You have a lot saved. You were the one looking at the games.
Yeah. I have a bunch of fun little
and
game
that
ideas.
That's a $5 tier, and then we were going to add another tier for $10, and that because I don't know, by the time this comes out, I need to do some looking into stuff, but we're gonna eventually have ads in here, and so if you like, I pay for Spotify so I don't get ads.
Lenore does. I don't.
I think I still get ads, like sponsors.
They're
and
the
stuff.
content creator ads, not
So we will eventually, slowly, at some point. I finally figured it out after almost a year. I'm like, I do all the business side of stuff, and I'm like, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
So
it's okay.
we are gonna start
all new.
having ads. So over on Patreon at the $10 tier, it will be early episode release, ad free, and some extra content, which will include an extra crime here and there.
Yeah.
And an extra, you had some stories and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna read some Victorian spooky stories every now and then. Not a constant, but so nobody will get tired of it. I actually bought like 4 books for you guys. I'm gonna read, like, because kind of like how we have our listener tales, we're still accruing more of those. So we're putting out stories. So if you have a story about anything you want to tell us is fine.
Crime related. Yeah. Because I have one that was sent to me, but we didn't have enough other ones
we'll have
to
some
do
like true crime locally, strange encounters, aliens, Bigfoot, whatever. We want to hear it. We will do more listener stories coming up. So this is kind of going off that, where it's just like funny, because one of the big things that Victorians like to do was scare each other.
Yeah.
With death.
Yeah. So that'll be it's a whole other tier with a lot more content. So you could always start at the $5 tier right now that we have up, and you
7
can get
day
a
trial.
Yeah,
Oh.
7-day trial. Yeah, free trial. You could try us out, and if it's not your cup of tea, then you can wait for the next tier to come out, because that will include more of what is on this podcast right now. More crime. Maybe we were talking about, just like more everything from either one of us. So like one extra crime, it could be from either one of us, and you get a surprise.
Maybe a story time, maybe a tutorial.
Yes.
Oh, another one of the cool things that we have the option of on Buy Me a Coffee that we do not have the option on Patreon is Buy Me a Coffee has direct shop sales.
Yes.
So one of the things we chit-chatted about was like, eventually we're going to be doing these tutorials for you guys on Patreon, and we won't need all those things that we make. So there will be limited edition art pieces basically made by us that will be eventually available to buy on Buy Me a Coffee. So you can have like a special piece of something that we made. I mean, we're pretty good.
Yeah, we are.
We make a lot of cool stuff. Like I sell things, you sell things. Yeah. Like we do artistry things on the side. So like they'll be cool. They should be pretty good.
There'll be some of my macrame, crochet, knitting stuff on there. I was just thinking we could totally do handmade paper.
Heck yeah, we're going
greeting cards.
Yeah, we have a pretty much
have a lot of ideas.
Our goal is to the crafts we covered. If it's realistic, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, and so we're gonna do that, and that will end up being over as another tier on Patreon, and you'll get to watch the videos of it being done.
Because on TikTok, what we'll eventually get to on social media is our TikTok will be like snippets of what you're gonna see.
Yeah, like a minute. You'll get a minute of whatever.
Just a quick little funny thing, and then probably like the chickens and the cats and the rabbits, because everybody wants to see it.
I know. So
they're cute. I know they're cute.
A lot coming up. And then another thing that we had kind of talked about a while ago is merch. Like Crafts and Crime merch.
Yeah, we're thinking about stickers probably, and then
you had talked about pins.
Yeah, maybe pins. We're talking about doing giveaways eventually when we get to certain things. Like again, we'll give away. We have some plans for little crimies.
Yes,
little baby crimey, and so it's gonna be fun. Throughout time, we'll just figure out little things that we can give you, because part of Patreon, if you like, is you can put your address in, because there are times that we may or may not just send
a
out
little something your way.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, so if you sign up and you're like, why do I have to put in my address? It's just for us to be able to send you like surprises. Surprises. So and then like we said, over at Buy Me a Coffee, you can just give us a little tip. Money our way if you like
Crafts
what you
hear. And
crime. and then it just allows us to continue to do this.
This is our job, basically.
It is, and we
have side hustles, but like
we are investing a lot of time and energy and money into this. And so
this ends up being like a part-time job.
It is.
That like it's 2:00 in the morning and I'm still working. So like this is what we're doing, and we do it for us for fun. It's what we've started, and if it continues going like this, that's fine. I have a lot of fun with it. But everybody could help out and make it so much better.
Yeah, we need...
If we weren't poor.
Yeah, I know. We need to do a few things. Like, we got a good audio setup, but we need a new computer for recording. We've had a few audio blips because of my old computer. So, it's like stuff like that. So, yeah. So, and another thing...
There's so much more.
Tell people if you like us. I can't tell you how many times our own friends have been like, I didn't know you guys had a podcast.
We really don't talk about it a lot privately.
Yeah. So I shared it, and I had like 2 people who were like, what the heck? I didn't know you had a podcast. So if you like us and you know somebody who likes either crafts or crime, tell people about us.
Rate us.
Yes.
Like, comment, all that nonsense.
Follow us on social. We're on... Facebook, Instagram. We
technically TikTok, even though there's nothing there, but you can get a head start. Crafts and Crime.
Yeah, we're working.
Is it Crafts and Crime Pod on TikTok? I can't even remember.
I think it is Crafts and Crime Pod. Let me.
I know. See, it's because there's nothing there. We haven't worked on it.
Don't follow us on TikTok.
No.
Well, I mean, you can.
We're there.
We're there. We just don't have anything right now because we're getting
I think Crimey's on it.
No. No, I don't think anything's on TikTok.
That's okay.
Yeah. So we'll get there eventually.
Yeah, but all of this stuff is what we're working on. And it's really, really
exciting. We started with the little toe dip in the water to try it out, and we love it, and we want to keep doing it, and I think people like it, and so share us. Support us. It really would help.
The more you rate, the more we'll actually show up quicker in the searches too for crime podcast. Because the thing is, I was literally just reading an Ardcast? Oh my God. An article about podcasting, and they were talking about that like crime is the number one podcast.
So we're kind of just like washed away in there. And so yeah. Okay, well, we're done talking about all that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I am too.
We talk about this every day.
We do.
Because it's a constant like planning and working.
I spent like all day last Saturday, like literally probably 6 hours working on stuff for the podcast. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that you don't realize until you're into it. And I'm like, whoa, there's a lot.
It's constantly looking for what we're going to do next, trying to find funny stuff to fill social media so that it's not just like episode, like things in between.
Yeah.
We're going to really start getting more active on there. That's my side. And she does the business because she's smart. And then I do the social media because I can make dick and fart jokes.
Yeah. No, you're good with social media. You're a lot better with social media than me. And then I mean, technically I have a business degree, so I guess that's why. But
it works out.
No, we balance it that way. So, but okay, we're done talking about that.
One last thing though, the funny part we talked about last week is like we've seen those things online that it's like kids that had talks too much on their report card. What do you do for a living? Podcasters. Makes sense. We talk for a living.
Yeah. Look, we talked for like 15 minutes about ourselves.
Yes.
No, just about, if you like us, share us and help us girls out. So
yeah.
Okay, well, with that, stay crafty.
And not crimey.
Bye.